Thiru Vignarajah used to work in the Maryland Attorney General's office, so it kind of made sense when he first was the prosecutor on the case. But then he left the Attorney General's office and he went into private practice. But the strange thing is, he continues to prosecute Adnan's case.
How unusual is that he's a private attorney as a prosecutor pro bono?
I've never heard of it. I think what it comes down to is he did it for the publicity. When he agreed to take the case, he had already made the decision that he was going to be running for office. I think he has his eyes on greater political ambitions. It's not about the law, it's not about justice. It's about making a name for himself.
New decision in the Adnan Syed case. The Maryland Court of Special Appeals upheld a judge's ruling to vacate his conviction.
Yesterday, the Court of Special Appeals ruled to uphold the overturning of the conviction. Today, we talk with Thiru Vignarajah, and some people may say that prosecuting this case where there are a lot of questions about the original trial isn't particularly progressive. What does it say about what you would do as state's attorney?
I think being progressive means not taking cases forward if there's insufficient evidence, but it also means taking cases forward if there is sufficient evidence and not allowing the winds of public sentiment to drive a particular decision.
Assalamualaikum auntie, क्या हाल आपका? बहुत मुबारक हो। ये यासीन है, दुआ करे इसके लिए। That's good.
He looks good.
Yeah. That's Yasin. He's eating the sweets that people brought for your mom.
He ate all my sweet.
Did you get a chance to read the rest of the opinion, or
No, I haven't read it line by line. I'm gonna do that over the weekend. It's like 138 pages. I was like, oh my God. So I was like just scrolling because I just want to see that one line, whether it's affirmed or denied. It was incredible. I was just overwhelmed. It was wonderful. And then there were parts of the opinion that were so strong and that were so favorable. I almost felt like the court was making an argument for his innocence. Actually, can I just read that portion? It says the state's case was weakest when it came to the time it theorized that Syed killed Hae. Wild's own testimony conflicted with the state's timeline of the murder. Moreover, there's no eyewitness testimony, video surveillance, or confession of the actual murder, no forensic evidence linking Syed to the act of strangling Hae or even putting Hae in the trunk of her car. In short, at trial, the state adduced no direct evidence of the exact time that Hae was killed, the location where she was killed, the acts of the killer immediately before and after Hae was strangled, and of course, the identity of the person who killed Hae. It is amazing. To me, that's such strong language. It said that there's a reasonable probability that had Asia testified, it would have cast reasonable doubt in at least the mind of one juror. Even before this decision was rendered, the appellate lawyers who are experts in Maryland appeals have told us that if we win on the Asia issue, it's highly unlikely that the court will take another appeal. So we're in good shape. He sounded very excited.
Very excited. This is the first time I see him,
Yeah.
he's really happy, So, alhamdulillah, so.
These are big wins. What's happening with your health? Did you tell Adnan yet?
Oh, not yet.
Auntie, you need to tell Adnan.
I will.
Not tell
everything,
him.
yeah. I will.
Everything's calm now. Everything's fine.
Because trust me, he think, that he's supposed to be home to take care of me.
You don't want to wait for something to go wrong.
Oh, no, I will make sure, I'll do it this time.
I really do think by the end of this year, he'll be home.
I was telling my mom, if they offer me a plea deal to get out, I'm going to seriously consider it. She would love for me to be home, but I could see it crushed her spirit a little bit. Like, why would you plead guilty to something you didn't do? When you first get arrested, I'm like, no, I'm going to fight. I want to prove my innocence. When you get to 5 years, it's like, okay, I still want to fight. When you get to the 15 years, almost 20 years, it's like, I'm just trying to get out of prison, man. What do you want me to do? he's worried about me pleading guilty and being able to go home to my family. But I think for my mom, she's a big believer in fighting.
If the state were to offer a plea deal, which they haven't, you know, who knows if they will, you know, we would consider it, but he is innocent and he maintains his innocence. So, you know, it would be tricky. It would have to be an Alford plea, which is a plea whereby a defendant admits that the state has certain evidence and that they could potentially persuade a jury of his guilt, but that they don't actually admit guilt. You know, my job as a lawyer is to explain all the options and, quite frankly, to create options. We're always interested in DNA testing. There are objects that have not been tested, that were never tested. It's a little tricky, though, because DNA testing could be misleading. It's not disputed that Adnan was in contact with the victim. He's her former boyfriend. They remained friends after the two split up. So, you know, it wouldn't be at all surprising if his DNA were, you know, in her car. So we have been and we will continue to be really careful about DNA testing. We are in the position of controlling this case right now, and the state is playing catch up.
Good, Justin. How you doing, man?
Okay, I'm not in.
So, all right, let's do this quick.
Okay, I know you're
All right.
nervous. So tell us what happened.
So I ran into Brian Frosch on the street. I've never met him in person. You know, without going into any detail, there have been some informal talks going on. He assured us that we would be hearing from his office very soon. Finally, we settled on 4 o'clock. You know, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it, but I'm also cautiously optimistic. They could express a serious desire to resolve the case. Skedaddle.
Okay.
Give me a little piece.
Okay. Did he hang up?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, close the door. You know, I'm limited in what I can say, Amy.
Okay, I understand.
I can tell you that discussions with the state are ongoing. You know, the two sides have not reached an agreement. And in light of that, the state they're going to file their appeal. I think it's due on Tuesday. But yeah, so we as of now, there's no deal. It's tough out there, you know? These cases are just so fucking hard to win. By no means are we in a position of weakness. We won one appeal, and I'm confident we'll win another appeal. And if they want to go back to trial, I'm confident that we'll win that trial. But it's you know, time is working against us. You know, my client's in prison right now. And, you know, that's something that always weighs on you. You know, they want to file an appeal, boom, that's, you know, maybe a year and a half.
Have they put a new attorney on this beyond Theroux?
I suspect when you see a brief filed on Tuesday, his name's going to be on it. I personally find it troubling that someone who's actively running for public office and in the process is actively seeking publicity, is handling this very high-profile case. I don't think it makes our criminal justice system look good, and it's concerning to me.